Lamont, look at this picture I found.
Aww, was that you guys last Christmas?
Last Christmas, I was like 9 in this picture.
Oh, well, I guess you look great. Lamont, and I have water in my cup today.
And I'm Leah, and I also have water in my cup today.
How mature. And you're tuning into the Lamont N Leah Podcast.
Alrighty, Lamont. Today is my subject, my topic.
Yes, finally we got to a Leah topic.
Mine are few and far between, but I mean, whatever. So today I want to tell you about this hypothesis I've developed.
Theory.
Hypothesis. I'm going with hypothesis, okay?
Okay, so a hypothesis is an educated guess, right? Where a theory is a way of looking at and living, right? Or am I like tripping?
I don't know, man.
Okay.
Anyway, I think we've touched on this before, but I'm not sure if it was like in the podcast or if it was just, us having a conversation and we talked about it. But my hypothesis, my theory, is that you can be a grown-up who is mature and responsible, or mature. You can be a grown-up who is mature and responsible, but you can also be mature and responsible without being a grown-up. It sounds like it sounds like I'm presenting like a science project in elementary school. These are my materials. This is a graph here showing my results.
I used to love science projects.
Right? I would love to make one of those little trifold boards again.
You will when you have kids, when you and Patrick have kids.
Anyway, so a little backstory on my theory hypothesis. And it kind of was like 3 separate situations that made me develop this, or whatever you want to call it. So situation 1, thanks to social media, I'm able to keep up with a lot of like people from high school and elementary, which is nice. But something I kind of noticed is like just how grown up some of them look. Like, they don't look old. I'm not saying anyone looks old. I'm just saying they look like an adult should look.
Okay.
And like so many of them are having kids, or they're posting about how they like just got a mortgage, or they're getting married, or they're on their way to see their financial advisors. And like when I look at their posts and stuff, they just seem so much older to me. Like, but we're all around the same age. So I don't know. It's very, very strange. Situation 2 is I have 2 younger siblings. Well, I'm the oldest of 6, so I have a few younger siblings, but I have 2 that are pretty young. I'm actually 18 years older than my youngest brother. So like I'm old enough to be his mom.
Yes.
I'm 18 or 19 years older than him. And even like the second youngest, if I had made some decisions as a teenager, I could be her mom too. Like, that's how much older I am than them. And like, so when I talk with them, they treat me differently than they do my other siblings that are closer to their age. And I asked them about that when I was back home in California, and they said it's because I'm a grown-up.
And what? Like Kavika and Jonathan aren't? Amalia isn't?
I mean, they treat Kavika a little bit differently too, but not as much as me. And it kind of like goes down until, the second youngest sister, who's way closer to their age than I am. And it's so weird to me that they look at me and they go, oh, she's a grown-up. And they put me up there with the other quote unquote old people, when I look at myself and I look at the old people, quote unquote, and I do not identify with them at all.
Right.
And then situation 3 is I turned 28 this year. Congratulations to me.
So that technically that picture that you showed me was like
A long time ago. Like,
yeah, like it was like 20 years ago almost.
this picture that I showed you is as old as Adam. Anyway, ever since I turned 28, no one will shut up about how I'm almost 30 and like my youth is fading and I'm getting old and blah 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 blah. And like I've honestly been hearing this since I turned 25, but like every single year since then, it's just been getting worse and worse and worse.
I see.
And like I guess people think that 30 is like old or something, but then
not at all.
I know. And like I look in the mirror and I look at how I dress and how I carry myself and my hobbies, and I don't see old, quote unquote, like people tell me I'm supposed to.
Oh.
But at the same time, I like go and file my general excise taxes for my business or stay on hold for 45 minutes on the DMV, you know? Like
yeah.
Yeah, so those are the three situations that kind of like brought up this whole hypothesis of mine.
Which is
and I know I'm not like the only person who feels like this, especially as a millennial, which I'll touch on later. But I also know that this is not a shared experience among my age demographic. So my hypothesis, reinstated for my science project, is being mature doesn't mean you have to be a grown-up. You can be a young person who knows the time and place when you need to be mature and do grown-up things. Doesn't mean you have to do that all the time. So Lamont, with that being said, do you view yourself as a grown-up, or are you a young person who knows how to be mature?
That's a good question, actually. So I think it's all in the way in which I think this goes back to our conversation about beliefs and values.
Mm-hmm.
So my mom, I am 33, about to be 34. My mom had me and my siblings at that time, and you know, like when you look up to your parents, like you always want to be grown, you want to be where they are and stuff. So in my head, I honestly think I'm a grown-up, but also I realize I'm a young person and I have mature moments. Mm-hmm. There are times I don't have mature moments, and that's okay too, right? Because I'm not expected, or I shouldn't be expected, to be mature all the time.
Yeah.
So, as you were talking, Leah, and you're like, oh, people are telling me, like, you're getting close to your 30s and 30s death. Okay, I'm 33. So, 3 years ago, I had my 30th birthday party. And
he's alive.
Yeah, and I'm alive. And to celebrate my 30th birthday party, I had a catwalk. And I walked into my 30s. Like, all my other friends, they might have been a little bit younger or around the same age, but they walked down the catwalk. And I walked into my 30s. Like, I'm 30, I'm feeling good, I'm healthy, I'm alive. And actually, around that time, I kind of wanted to do a campaign where I was like, this is what 30 looks like. And like a whole bunch of people that look like me and like my skin and stuff. And this is what 40 looks like. And it's not too bad. And this is what 50 looks like. And 60. Let me back it up a little bit. So when I first started grad school, I had this beautiful, gorgeous, dark Black teacher. And I thought she was in her 30s. Like, oh, like she got a doctorate. She's in her 30s. She's living her life, doing great, right? Turned out she was like 50 something. And when she told us their age, not very maturely, I was like, stop playing. Because like I didn't believe her. I was like, stop playing. Like, you don't look 50. I know what 50 looks like. I'm not dumb. Like you don't look 50. Like, I know they're healthy looking 50-year-old people. You look like you're 30. And I was like, what, 20 something at that time? So I was like, come on, like, are you trying to punk us right now? Where are the cameras? That was literally my response. And she was like, well, thank you, but no, I'm 50. And I was like, oh shit. So yeah, certain people just look young and will remain looking young.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so what is it that you value? Do you value being able to handle the responsibilities that you believe you're able to handle? Or are you more like, I'm older, so what I say matters kind of mindset?
Yeah. For me, I just like to have fun. Like, and I don't like when people put restrictions on me doing stuff. Like, I like to wear a Harley Quinn onesie every once in a while. And I don't need people to tell me, like, oh, but you're almost 30. Maybe you shouldn't wear that. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go file my taxes right now in this onesie.
Exactly. So what is that onesie doing to deflect from your age? Like, really nothing. It's their biases, their beliefs that, like, oh, 30-year-old people shouldn't be doing this. You're not hurting anyone. You're enjoying your time, and you're still taking care of your business. And literally taking care of your business. Like, you're filing your taxes for your business. You're keeping it afloat. You're making sure everything's running right and smoothly.
Mhm.
You're making all your appointments.
Mhm.
Still conducting yourself professionally. So what is it in people or in ourselves, I'm pretty sure I'm guilty of this, where like I challenge people to be like, oh, like you should think more maturely. Like, where does that come from?
I feel like it's a notion that we grew up with watching older folks, seeing that they were serious all the time and they were always busy doing something that we deemed like grown up. And I feel like it's just like, okay, well, that's how I'm supposed to act, but I don't want to act like that. It's boring. Or like, oh, I don't want to act like that all the time. That doesn't seem like fun.
Right, right.
So I think a lot of people, especially in our age these days, are feeling kind of like me, like we're looking at what a grown up is supposed to be, and we're just like, I don't want to feel like that. I don't feel like that all the time. Like, let's not do that. I'm gonna go have fun. I'm gonna enjoy myself. But then, I also got to turn around and deal with stuff. I, did I finish my thought there? I don't know. I don't know if I finished it. But yeah, I mean, when you like think back in like elementary school, let's see, what's a teacher we shared? Mrs. H. Not gonna put her on blast, but you know who
Okay.
I'm talking about. Mrs.
Okay.
H. Did you ever see her have fun?
You mean
Like,
like laugh at a joke
well, I mean,
or
I'm just talking about like act like a kid. Like, as a kid, when I would see her, she was always the authority figure. She was always serious. She was always like, of course she'd laugh at jokes. She's not a robot. But,
right?
but like I never saw her do anything young. But at that
She
time,
jumped rope once.
Hmm?
She jumped rope once.
Yeah, I know. Like for 30 seconds, and she goes, "Okay, I'm done." But like, think about when we were in elementary school, she was probably only in her late 30s.
Right.
Yeah, but
Because she
to
seems so
me,
much older, right?
yeah, and as a kid, she just seemed so much older, and I never saw her have fun. That, as a child, what I perceived as what fun is. So it's just like I don't know if that has changed or if I just keep looking at people who act like adults and act like that, and I just go, "Oh, you must be old."
I see. I think she could not afford to have childish behavior at all.
Oh, I mean, she was also a teacher and a principal, so yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean,
So I think we weren't allowed to see that side of her.
mhm,
Maybe if we were like her peers or closer to her age where we're invited to her home, I'm
mhm,
pretty sure there was a side to her. But like being that she was the principal and a teacher at the school, like, and she had to be in charge of all the discipline and stuff. Like, I don't think she could have let that persona slip. Like, because you know how bad some of those kids were at our school. So like, if she was like to act silly or goofy, I'm pretty sure that would have just been it.
No, that actually just made me think of something. Is it that people who are deemed the grown-ups or older they kind of just have to hide that they are, that they just kind of have to pretend like that all the time? And these people who are around my age that I see as older, is it just that I look up to them, so like I'm not seeing? I don't know.
Possibly. For Miss H, I kind of understand why the demeanor was how it was.
Yeah.
There was definitely a purpose, and it served a purpose, and it served it well. For other people, I feel like people don't pretend. Like, I feel like there's different parts of people, and we get to see different parts of people, and different people bring different parts out on us. Like, Leah, you would be surprised of how dirty I am. Like, I'm a nasty, filthy pervert. Like, I can be. Only certain people bring it out in me. Like, only certain friends who have like that mindset. I know I can be free and non-judgmental. But when I'm with you, like, I don't think like, oh, Leah will get a kick out of this pervy joke. It's more like, oh, like, let's talk about this and let's talk about that and let's talk about this. Like, but that's just the side that you bring out and inspire, you know? So I think there's just like different sides to us. So when something's missing, like, hey, like, this person seems mature all the time. This person doesn't seem like they have a good time, that they always have to be the adult. Why am I perceiving it like that? Or yeah.
Like, so here's another example. When I look at you, I don't see a grown-up. I see my friend, Lamont.
Okay,
but like,
cool.
I know that you have more experience in certain areas than I do. So if I need help with something, I'm going to go to you and ask you. But I don't see you as like, oh, he's the grown-up. He's the one in charge, like stuff like that. Then I have a high school, I wouldn't say friend. We were not friends.
Okay.
Girl I went to high school with in my class. She's maybe a year older than me, not much older, but she is a nurse. She has a child, she has a husband, she has an apartment. She has this life that to me seems like a grown-up. So I look at her and I'm like, oh, she's the one who's probably in charge. She's the grown-up. I'm not going to listen to what she says because I'm also an adult. But, in a situation, if she said, oh, you need to do this, I'd be like, yes, ma'am.
Gotcha.
So I'm just wondering if it's like an authority thing.
Right. I also think you may look up to like her and like, hey, like, that's something I kind of want. Like, I want a steady job. I want a child. I want a house. You already have it and you seem to be on track. So
yeah,
it's my thought on like, this is what adulting is.
Yeah.
Really, we probably should have called this segment adulting and what is adulting and what's not adulting. But who knows? We'll figure that out later. But so let's go back a little bit. Let's go back. So this segment is called, hold on. I'm on a different computer.
Growing up, getting older versus maturity.
Yeah. So growing up, getting older versus maturity. So what does growing up mean? If you're listening, this is the opportunity to type in what you think growing up means.
Yes. Like, right? How would you define what a grown-up is?
So for me,
there's a difference between growing up and being a grown-up. So we may have to change the title a little bit. But, what is a grown-up? Let us know down in the comments.
Yeah. So to me, a grown-up is a person who takes care of their responsibilities. Those responsibilities typically include their house, making sure they get to their job on time, making sure they're paying their bills. If you're doing that, to me, you are doing grown-up responsibilities and you're meeting those responsibilities. Maturity, it to me means, so let us know what you think maturity means.
Yeah.
But to me, it's understanding your way through a situation and having the wisdom to get through that situation. And stuff.
Yeah. I mean, maybe.
Yeah, like I feel like this is so hard, and I probably should have prepared better.
Because, well, by your definition, then I would be a grown up.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see myself as a grown up. I see myself as a young person who knows what I need to do and can handle it when I need to. But for the most part, I'm just a young person. Like, I'm here, I'm having fun. Like,
Right.
I don't see myself as a grown up.
So I think I see you as a grown up. I think I see you as a person who is completely mature enough to handle her responsibilities, but still likes to have a good time and fun with her peers. And I feel like around maybe Daphne and Adam, you do come off a little bit more like bossy and strict because you are the oldest, one. So
Yeah.
there's that. And then two, you are like older than them. And so, and like, they're kind of in a mindset where like they don't get the gravity of the seriousness of some of the stuff that's going on in your family. And so you're trying to keep everything together.
Yeah.
So that makes sense why you would be a grown up to me, but you're still you, right? There's still a part of you that's like, hey, like, no, like I'm still young. Like I still have a lot to learn. And so I think the notion is once we're grown or we're grown ups, we don't have that much to learn. And I think we need to dispel that notion.
Yeah.
Whereas like, no, like we're grown up. We've made it this far, and there's still a lot more to learn to get through life.
So what you're saying is, age is just a number.
Yes, Aaliyah said it first. Age ain't nothing but a number.
I can go with that one. I like that idea. Yeah, I don't want to be old, quote unquote old.
Well, we'll all be old eventually if we make it there. Some of us may not make it there. Like Amy. Bye, Amy.
All right. I can go with that. So it's all just a mindset thing.
Yeah, it's mindset. So at the end of the day, when you look in the mirror, are you pleased with who you are, what you accomplished, and are you ready to do it again the next day? You know, some days those are going to be absolute yes. Some days they may not be a yes. But overall, I think if you feel that way overall, you're on the right track and stuff.
It's all a mindset. All right. Got anything to add, Lamont?
I think it's time to take a break.
All right, let's take a quick little break and we'll be right back. Lamont, we are both children of the 90s. Would you agree?
I would absolutely agree. The 90s was a great time to grow up, a great time for movies and music. And yes, some of my 90s people, Will Smith, loved him. Sandra Bullock, loved her and her movies. Julia Roberts. Destiny's Child was coming in from the 90s. You had Aaliyah, Usher, Maya. Whitney Houston had some great 90s hits. Of course, Michael Jackson. The 90s was a great time. Like, the 90s was a great time.
Now, most people, not most people, but a lot of people would say because I was born in 93, and so I was still a baby for most of the 90s, that I don't count as a 90s child. But, I mean, come on. And
Did you watch Rugrats?
Of course I did.
Did you watch Rocko's Modern Life?
Yes.
Did you watch Angry Beavers?
Yeah. Oh my God, I
Did
loved
you
it.
watch Cat Dog?
My favorite show.
Okay, you're a freaking 90s kid. Tell those people to shut their mouths.
So I found a list of 90s kids stuff by a Facebook user named Erica Jordan. Um, and we're just gonna go through it and
Oh, just like I was doing right now.
look at some 90s memories and see how much we remember.
All right.
So this is the first one. It is those little like fruit canister things that was filled with, I think it was like almost like pixie stick stuff, right? Yeah, I was not allowed to have these. I knew about them and I knew some of the kids who would have them, but I was not allowed to have these. It was just like that's too much sugar. I was barely allowed to have pixie sticks, honestly. I
Yeah,
just
I did get those a little bit, but like this, absolutely not. I know my mom was
yeah.
like, no.
No, she's like you're not just gonna drink sugar.
Mm.
All right, next one. Oh my goodness.
Ouch, bubble gum.
Ouch, bubblegum. I loved these things.
I don't think I was allowed to chew gum. Like I had to like ask for gum. So growing up in the 90s, like I had to ask for gum when I was ready to get rid of my gum. I had to like give it back to my mom. She would put it in the wrapper and like throw it away. Like, and it was sparingly and it was a treat. Like it was a reward and a treat. So
Yeah, I would pretty much only get these when I went to grandma's house. She would buy these for me. And I think they were called Ouch Bubblegum because they were in these like tin canisters. And this is what actual Band-Aids used to come in before they came in like paper boxes. They'd be in these
okay.
like tin canisters. And that's why it was called Ouch Bubblegum because it was like the same canister that they use for Band-Aids.
Interesting.
When did they
Interesting.
stop putting Band-Aids in tin canisters though? This next one is the L'Oreal Kids like shampoo stuff. It looks like a fish or whatever. I loved these stupid little things.
Yeah, yeah. I remember them being advertised like in the summertime. Lip
Lip
smacker.
smackers. I feel like they still make lip smackers.
I think they do. I think they do. I just don't think
Yeah,
they're as
but
popular.
I think the containers look different. So these are like the translucent sparkly ones. That was like such a 90s thing was to put glitter in all like the clear stuff. 90s and early 2000s. Everything was clear with glitter in it. But I'm pretty sure they still make lip smackers. Oh my
Oh, a
goodness.
Game Boy Color. Now that was like late 90s, like 98-ish.
I was actually not allowed to have one. Because my mom we weren't allowed to play video games or anything, and I remember my cousin gave me one year, and she about lost her mind.
Oh my lord.
But I loved it. I had a aqua blue one.
Erasers. Always at the
Oh
end
my
of the
gosh, those
pencil.
fat Lisa Frank erasers on the top of pencils, for sure. Those are coming back. Kids are starting to like them again, but like the erasers are way more detailed now than they used to
Yeah.
be.
So I hardly ever used the erasers when they were this big
Oh no, I
because
didn't either. They're decoration.
yeah. All right,
Oh God, I remember these
I
things. Oh,
still eat Trix yogurt sometimes.
oh, disgusting. We weren't allowed to, but every time someone at school would give me one, I'd be like, "Why? What the heck is this?" It's
I
disgusting.
I love Trix yogurt, especially mixing the flavor, getting a new color, and then just
Oh,
eating it.
I don't know. I couldn't stand
Now
it.
I want
I
one.
do remember them though, especially the little Halloween one right there on the bottom corner. I remember that container because
Now I want one.
I think that year they were trying to get people to give it out for Halloween.
Mm. I remember this game, kind of.
What is this called?
Was it cat and mouse or
So it's that little like tarp rainbow tarp thing that you would hold in like gym class and like you'd either run under it
yeah, I have to chase
or
someone.
like sometimes we would put like a ball in the center and try and like bounce it and see if we could get it to stay in the tarp or whatever.
Yeah.
I love those things. They were really fun. I was so excited when it was the day to take those out.
Oh my gosh. I remember probably when I discovered that I wasn't that good of an artist and never wanted to do art again. But
Yes. So it's those little art packs that you get as a kid that has like those crappy markers that like never worked. Like they would work for like two lines and then they were dead. And then like colored pencils and the most terrible watercolors that there are,
yeah.
crayons, pastels, whatever that is. um Patrick was just like, I hated getting these. They always made me feel like, okay, I don't want to do art if it's going to be like this.
I never understood the game.
Minesweeper. I figured out Minesweeper in high school. You know who taught me? My first boyfriend. Not gonna drop his name on here, but you know who I'm talking about with the long
Mhm,
hair.
mhm.
Um, he taught me how to play Minesweeper, and I finally get it. I love it now.
Yeah, no, I never knew how to play this game. Like sometimes I would go really well, like, okay, let's go here. Okay, I didn't explode. Let me go here. I didn't
Click,
explode.
click, click,
Okay, let
click,
me go
click. Yep.
here. But like I had no idea how to play this game.
Bop it.
I'm actually really good at Bop It. I
I'm
love
terrible.
Bop It. Like
I'm
Bop It, twist it,
terrible at Bop
pull
it.
it. And now they have like Spin It and what else do they have?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Pass it.
Yeah.
I was this game always gave me so much anxiety. I couldn't do it.
I can see that. I can see that. Oh,
Of course, Pokemon.
Pokemon,
Pokemon.
gotta catch 'em all.
Still love Pokemon. Original Pokemon are,
Okay, so I have a story for you.
okay.
I was not allowed to watch Pokemon because why? They were pocket monsters.
Monsters.
And
Yep.
that was against the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out that my mom didn't care about it being against the Lord or not, because like after like I missed my whole generation of not being able to play Pokemon cards or watch Pokemon or do anything Pokemon, Ty and Diamond, my other siblings, I came over for a visit and they were watching Pokemon. I was like, why are you guys watching Pokemon? You guys aren't allowed to watch Pokemon. They're like, Mom wants to watch Pokemon. I was like, Mom, you let them watch Pokemon? She's like, oh yeah, it's a cute little show actually. I like it. It's like, Mom, Pokemon is my generation. You robbed me of my generation. She's like, yeah, well, that's because I didn't want to sit down and watch it with you guys,
Oh
but
my
I like it
gosh.
now. Right? I found out that day there were so many shows that I wasn't allowed to watch only because my mom didn't
You
want to
didn't
sit
want
down and
to
watch
watch.
it with us. But she blamed the Lord in our religion.
Yeah, my mom was very neutral about Pokemon.
Oh,
With the
Walkman.
CD Walkman. Oh yeah,
Yeah. So
definitely.
I actually got both. I got the tape player. I had a
Mhm.
tape player, and then I had the
Me too. Yeah.
CDs.
It was great when I got to upgrade to the CD player. I was so excited. And I used to decorate mine like with stickers and like permanent marker and like write on it because that was what the cool people did.
Oh my gosh, a
And a
VCR.
VHS tape. Dude, I just took
Oh,
a bunch of VHSs to the Goodwill when I was back in California because we had so many and I was like, we're never going to watch. I kept a few though. Kept a few good ones and everyone's like favorite movies and whatever, but for the most part I got rid of most of them. I loved the smell of VHS tapes. I don't know what it was. They had this like very interesting plastic smell. I just like all the time. Lisa Frank.
yeah. So this was definitely girl toys.
Ah, loved Lisa Frank. Still really into like that neon rainbow look. I blame Lisa Frank.
Trolls. I was not allowed to have trolls.
Yeah, I wasn't either. And I think it's purely because my mom thought they were creepy. She's like, I don't want that in my house. I think my grandma had one though, and I would always play with the hair and like do little hairstyles with it.
Well, that was a lovely time down memory lane of things once popular, which are now past.
Some of those things are still in style though, and some of them I kind of still want. But yes, what a wonderful nostalgic walk down memory lane. Speaking of Lamont, why are millennials so nostalgic? Have you
I don't
noticed
know.
have you noticed that a lot of people in our age demographic are very nostalgic for, you know, things.
I feel like people are just nostalgic because um like my mom's generation, like I would hear them talk about things that
Hmm.
were no longer relevant or we deemed relevant at the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
I think we like just memories.
Yeah. Memories
It's a
are
people
always
thing.
strong. But there are a lot of people that are saying that millennials are turning out to be like one of the more nostalgic like demographics. Um, and some
Maybe
people would
because oh go ahead.
I was gonna say some people would argue that it's because it's like it's escapism and like just another way the millennial demographic is avoiding growing up or responsibilities or blah 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 blah.
I would say we're nostalgic because our childhood was stolen from us. Well, a lot of us had to grow up too fast.
Um, I like what Sophie Wallace from Grattan Street Press at the University of Melbourne says about that. Um, and then I'm gonna read from her article that she wrote. Nostalgia is one of the ways we cope with the responsibilities and the reality of our modern world. After all, with widespread precarious work, prolonged reliance on shared housing, and the rising mental health crisis, all disproportionately affecting younger people, aka millennials, it can be hard for many of us to feel like independent adults. According to psychologist and nostalgia researcher Professor Christine Bacho, experiencing a sentimental yearning for the past is particularly likely during times of transition. Given millennials' permanent state of instability, it's only natural that we are reaching for familiar sources of comfort and reassurance. Moreover, as the first digital natives whose childhoods have been meticulously archived by the internet, ready for us to reconsume, we have unprecedented access to our past that older generations simply don't have. With the tap of a button, we can peruse a nearly complete catalog of our favorite childhood movies and be instantly transported into their worlds, or dredge up our angsty adolescent Tumblr blogs and share our absurd trips down memory lane with our peers. What do you think about her response? I think that like really sums up nicely.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. I do think it sums up everything really nicely from maturity to getting growing or being grown up and stuff. Like it makes sense. It's a way to cope. Like when things get hard, um, you look back. So like I remember like when things would get hard for my mom and her friends, they'd be like, "You remember when
Hmm.
blah 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 blah,"
Yeah.
and they would all start laughing or giggling like, "Oh, great times! I did blah 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 and
Hmm.
blah blah blah." So it makes sense that it's a coping mechanism for when things get hard. And
Yeah.
right now, things are hard.
Things is tough. Just like Sophie said, when things are unstable, you want something comforting, and usually something comforting is like something nostalgic, something from your past. Like that's why people have like comfort foods and stuff. Like my comfort food, unfortunately, is French fries. And that's just they make me happy. Like I used to have French fries a lot as a kid. Like when I, had a bad day, my mom would take me out and we'd go get like some fries or something. So like that's just comforting to me. Um, but you were trying to link it into what we were talking about, and it does. You're right. It does kind of like really sum everything up. I think there's a large section of people these days that don't feel like grown-ups, like me, and don't see a grown-up when they look in the mirror. And I don't think it's a bad thing. I don't think it has to be a bad thing.
It doesn't have to be a bad thing.
Yeah, even though there's a lot of people who would disagree.
As it's not a bad thing as long as you're not looking at yourself thinking that you're not good enough
Mhm.
or you can't handle your responsibilities or stuff like that. If you are having thoughts like that, please seek help.
Mm-hmm.
There's help out there. But if you're just like, you know what, like I may not be a grown up, but like I got my stuff together.
Exactly.
That's okay, I feel.
Because, like I said earlier, age is just a number, right? And as long as we're able to be mature and handle our lives responsibly, then we shouldn't feel forced to, quote unquote, act our age that people tell us how we should be acting. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But on the other side of the coin, if you want to act your age and be a grown up, do it. More power to you.
Yeah, I think as long as you're not hurting yourself or you're not hurting those people around you, or like judging yourself poorly or judging people around you, and that's really what you think you need to do, then it's okay to be serious and act like an adult and handle your business.
Exactly.
So,
all right. That's all I have to say. Lamont, do you have anything else to add?
I don't want to grow up. I don't want to grow up. Oh my gosh. No, I'm good, Leah.
All right. Let us know what you thought of our subject. What do you think about this whole like being a grown up versus not seeing yourself as a grown up? Leave us comments in the description, or not in the description, in the comment section if you're on YouTube. If you are listening to us on one of our many audio versions, leave us a message on Instagram or Facebook, or
yeah,
go do something. Let us know.
So Leah has been posting questions that you can ask Lamont and Leah. So get those questions in, because we will be doing an episode where we will be answering those questions.
Exactly.
So
thank you for watching and listening.
All right, see you guys later. Today's life lesson is growing. It's a part of life. Growing is not an easy process. Some lessons in life are certainly easier than others. And then there are some really tough life lessons. It's important to keep the hope. Keep the trust. Remember, you got this. Just breathe through the problems and the issues. Know that it is guiding you somewhere worth going. And if you can believe that, you can make it through anything. And that is today's life lesson.